Okay, we're good.
Good morning, everyone. We're going to start today with a special prelude for all the folks with birthdays in August, courtesy of Judy Gammon. Let us take a moment to celebrate everyone with an August birthday. Pete Seeger's classic song, based on words from the book of Ecclesiastes, reminds us that change and conflict are inevitable, yet we can still strive for peace. A time for love, a time for hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late.
Thank you, Jackie. That was amazing. Oh, are we going to sing another song?
The opening hymn?
The opening hymn?
We don't have
Let's
to.
do it.
Yeah, I think we should.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's stand and sing together. Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirring
I ran up to double check with Gab if if she was regularly scheduled this morning as our usher or not, because things have changed. Obviously, things are different today. So I'm dressed down, what I would consider dressed down this morning, and I brought the scheduled sermon, but I'm not going to deliver it. And I'm sure nobody's wondering why, because we had a disaster in our community. A disaster very much like what's happening around the world and in other parts of the Northwest and the West itself right now. And it was scary, and I think we need to process a little bit together this morning. So we're going to do things differently, and we have a small crowd here, obviously. Some folks may not have been comfortable getting out. I just checked the air quality. It's moderate in Spokane, but if you look to the sky, it's white, which I assume is the smoke in the upper atmosphere. And folks may be live streaming with us this morning as well. So it's good to have those of you with us as well. For those who are perhaps in other parts of the country and haven't been watching the news, we had some pretty devastating fires yesterday. We don't really know the results of the aftermath of those just yet, because folks are still trying to figure that out. I do know we've had at least a handful of our members here that were evacuated or voluntarily evacuated because things were close enough to their homes they felt like they needed to. Had the wind been blowing in the direction it normally blows, I dare say the church and even my home would likely have not only needed to have been evacuated, but probably would have been caught up in those flames, because it's just really about a half mile up the street. So in that sense, we were fortunate, but there's a lot of folks who were not so fortunate. So we as a community, I think, need to process a little bit of this together this morning. So things are a little bit different. And before I go on, since we are a small crowd, in fact, I wonder, Gab, would you mind getting the handheld microphone from Shelley and maybe walking around? Thank you. This will give folks a chance to maybe tell us a little bit about where you were at least yesterday. We'll talk more later in the service during the sermon period, but just to get an idea of where you're at. And if you are live streaming with us and you have my phone number, I'm uncomfortable giving it out obviously over the air, so to speak, but if you are a member or friend who has my number, feel free to text me with a message or two about how you're doing, or how you've been impacted, if you would like. So anyway, Peggy and I were great. Peggy and I and Wiley, our beloved K9 companion, are all doing well. Obviously, there was a lot of anxiety. We were packed up, ready to go if necessary, and feel fortunate that we did not have to do that. So, Gordon, you're up here near the mic. You're filling in actually today for Lynn, who was our regularly scheduled lay leader. But thank you so much. Do you want to say something about where you guys were at? Do you mind?
Sure, I can do that. Well, and actually, Lynn Janishian is supposed to be here today, but she called me. She was headed up to Ponderay because she was evacuated. I have not heard back from her. I texted her this morning to see if she's heard anything about her house, but I haven't gotten any response back yet. From my perspective, Lynn and I live in Liberty Lake, and so we don't have anything that we were concerned about there, but our neighbors across the street, his daughter Danny lives just I guess it would be west of the VA hospital. And as you know, this fire went right around up just past the VA hospital. Fires got to within 2 houses of our neighbor's daughter's house. So they're lucky right now, but who knows where it's going to go. So, thank you. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Gab, since you have the mic, is there anything you want to share? No? Shelley, real quickly, you were pretty close to the church here. What was it like in this neighborhood yesterday? The reason we're using the mic is so that folks that are live streaming can.
It was a little bit scary, and we've been evacuated on that little corner right on Elliott Drive, right next to SFCC. We've been evacuated a few times there. This microphone sounds really pitchy. I basically prepared to evacuate. Everything's still all packed up and ready to go because so many times, the wind, like you said, really does normally just blow right into us. Our whole neighborhood was, we were out watching the smoke, and it was, the sky was really, it was a really beautiful bright blue, and then there was this really giant, ugly mushroom, just wall of dark gray smoke. So yeah, it was pretty scary, and we didn't sleep well last night.
Yeah.
But I believe, based on where Lynn Janishian's house is, I think she's probably okay. I think their house is okay.
Yeah, I think so too. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I've been
That's it. That's all I have to say. Thanks.
Good. Thank you. Yeah. So, anyone else want to maybe share a little bit about what you experienced yesterday? And while you're heading that way.
You can use your mic. I can use my mic.
Oh yeah, go right ahead.
Turn on. So we are in the Garland district, and that's literally blocks away from a level 3 evacuate now situation, which for me, we didn't have to evacuate, but I mean, that's very close, and I didn't want to leave it up to the wind. That didn't make any sort of common sense to me. So, and I have 2 little kids, so I didn't want to, leave in anxiety, because with 2 little kids, it just gets more, and then it gets more dangerous. But anyways, we gratefully just went over to my mom's over in Liberty Lake, Otis Orchards, with our bags packed, and just we're trying to debate if we should go back home. I just don't know if the fire's at all contained. It doesn't make sense to go back if it's not contained at all, because again, the wind. So, but
Let's check on that real quickly,
Yeah,
okay?
I
Because, I mean, you're right. The paper this morning was printed before a lot of news. I wasn't able to find any new news. Does anybody here know about the containment of these fires at this point? Okay, Alan has his hands up. Do you mind giving him the microphone? And then we'll get back to you, Karen, in just a minute.
Well, I think the best advice I heard is stay put where you're safe.
But do you know, Alan, do you know about whether the fires have been contained or not? Have you?
I'm trying to think of the name. What's the road that Kylan Gilbrick lives near? That's bad. There are still fires going.
Okay, so we're not sure
And they're
about the
still
maybe
trying-
somebody can check on
And
that.
they're trying.
Okay.
Hey, take it.
All right. Thank you, Alan. Gab, what do you have?
Yeah, we both have the Watch Judy app open, and it looks like Old Trails is not contained, which is.
Old Trails is not contained, which
No?
is the one that's close to us. Yeah,
Autumn Lane is 0% contained,
0% contained.
and Fireview is 0% contained. So I'm seeing 0 for Autumn, 0 for Fairview, and then no data on the Old Trails fire, which means not contained.
Okay. Well, that's terrible news to wake up
If
to.
you would like live updates, there's an app called Watch Duty, WATCH. It's free, and it's like Google Maps for fires. I know you had it open too.
Yeah.
I think I heard about it from a member
Okay.
here last year.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, or an app.
And let's give it to Karen if we can, who was going to make a comment.
We live on the South Hill, so we were not personally affected. But I wanted to tell everybody that one of the people who attends our church regularly, Connie Moreland, who lives between Country Homes Boulevard and Monroe on the north side, was evacuated. She sent us some photos of her house and she had to round up a sick cat and some dogs. But fortunately, she has a sister in the valley, and so she's there with all the animals now. And the pictures she sent me were really scary, of huge, plumes of smoke approaching her house. So at least she's safe for now.
Yeah, thank you.
So my understanding of watch duty is it's tied into the fire and first responders. So it's pretty up to date, just automatically. It's really a brilliant app. I live near Spokane Valley, and the only impact was like power was out 2 hours ago, or 2 hours yesterday, and an hour this morning. So. And my understanding of those is Bonneville had to bring some of their lines down for preemptive to make sure that either their lines didn't catch or they didn't cause a fire, and that affected some of the downages here. Vera Power, which is in Spokane Valley, had to shut down because there was a fire underneath the power lines. And once they brought it down, it takes them, they're required to look at all the lines and make sure that there's not a problem before they bring it back up. So that was some of the delay.
Wow. Alan, you were in the process of giving a piece of advice that you'd heard.
Stay safe. If you're in a place where you're okay, stay put until you get better information.
So at this point, stay put until
Told
you
it's
get more
safe.
information. Okay.
I mean, they're bringing water bombers in today just to try to help knock it down. And that was one reason things were so dicey last night, was the fire was jumping from tree to tree, not from ground along the ground. And in that sense, wind was just making
Yeah,
it.
yeah. That's why it was
And the
able
only
to
way to
cross
get-
the river so
The
easily
only way to
yesterday.
take care of that stuff is a water bomber, apparently. That's the FYI I got.
All right, thank you.
Okay?
And I also want to welcome Adam, who's our first-time visitor, new to Spokane. Welcome to the Northwest. Yeah, although I would have to say this is not really typical of what we experience here. Fires are perhaps the only real natural disaster that we have to worry about in this part of it, maybe a volcano now and then. But this is a very unusual situation, this level of fire. So I think the last time Spokane nearly burned down was around 1900 or something like that. 1991? 1891. Thank you. I was going to say 1991. Yeah. In fact, that is why all the downtown buildings are brick. They made them rebuild them out of brick so that if there was another fire, they would it would not basically level the city. So was there anything you wanted to say, Adam? Not to put you on. I'm going to let you bring the microphone up if you do. So just because we have folks that are live streaming with us.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I did notice, because I DoorDash, and yesterday I noticed there was a lot of lights out, traffic lights. I'm guessing it's related. I mean, that makes sense. Luckily, the drivers here, because I noticed the difference between drivers between here, Chicago, and Arizona, those are the places I've been to, and it's actually good, that you don't have Arizona and Chicago drivers, because that would be a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also wanted to say that I'm happy that the wind was with us, and the air quality is moderate. I have bad lungs, so, and I'm also glad to hear that I haven't heard about anything other than, relocations. I haven't heard.
Just hold the mic in front of you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about, anybody passing away, so that's good.
So far, yeah, that's great. That is. Thank you. Good to have you. Sorry to meet you under these circumstances, but glad to have you. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, Dick, please.
So with my natural inclination for my mind to go to the gloomiest possible forecast and so on, I'm thinking that this is a kind of a wake-up call. I agree with what you said, Todd, historically, that this is like unusual, but I'm not certain that in 10 years we're going to be able to say that this is unusual. This is a combination of a whole lot of different things.
Right.
It's not just the fire, it's the winds, it's the preemptive shutdown of the electricity that they have to do. It's the dryness
Sure.
and so on.
Yeah, we don't know it, or in 10 days.
Yeah.
for that matter.
Well,
Yeah,
precisely,
right.
precisely. So anyway,
Yeah.
it's like, let's consider this a wake-up call and start thinking proactively about what sorts of things we can do to, prepare ourselves so that, to avoid the worst consequences
Right,
of this.
right. Thank you. And with that, that's a good place to move forward for now. We're going to come back to this late.
I was just going to say one other thing.
You were going to say one other thing?
One other thing.
Okay, go right ahead. Come up to the microphone.
If you have the Watch Duty app and you zoomed out and looked at what is going on in this area of the country, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and Montana are on fire.
Yeah.
So it's just incredible, the number of fires that are going on right now.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. Thank you. All right, I'm not seeing anything new from anybody via text. So let's go ahead and move forward now with our chalice lighting. By the way, this is the one time we can really be brag about using electric candles. Yes, not only to help save the planet, but also it would be a bit ironic to light a candle, a physical candle at this point, but it is an important part of our service. The chalice is something we light as a symbol of our, as you hear me say each Sunday, is a symbol of our unity and our solidarity, of our openness and our inclusion, of our community and our individual uniqueness. May this small flame be our offering of warmth to those who are cold and alone, and a light to those in darkness. May it be a flame that ignites justice in our world and a beacon of hope to those in need. And may it reflect at least a spark of truth wherever truth has been lost, and cast a healthy shadow of doubt wherever it's been found. For those out there who think that global warming is a hoax, may it cast a healthy shadow of doubt, please. Okay.
For our opening reflection today is from Alain de Botton in his book entitled Religion for Atheists. We continue to need exhortations to be sympathetic and just, even if we do not believe that there is a God who has a hand in wishing to make us so. We no longer have to be brought into line by the threat of hell or the promise of paradise. We merely have to be reminded that it is we ourselves, that is, the most mature and reasonable parts of us, which are seldom present in the midst of our crises and obsessions, who want to lead the sort of life which we once imagined new supernatural beings demanded of us. An adequate evolution of morality from superstition to reason should mean recognizing ourselves as the authors of our own moral commandments.
Okay, let's stand and sing together. Our world is one world. Let's do verse 1 and verse 2.
Our world is one world. What touches one affects us all. The seas that wash us round about, the clouds that cover us, the rains that fall. Our world is one world. The thoughts we think affect us all. The way we build our attitudes with love or hate, we make a bridge or wall.
And we will now kindle our virtual candles together on behalf of those we're most thinking of this morning. And certainly there are a lot of them. I'm going to begin, as we have been, on behalf of the people who have been experiencing explosions and destruction in their communities ongoingly, consistently for far too many years. The people of Ukraine, the people of Russia, the people of Palestine and Israel and Iran, the people of Darfur and South Sudan and all the places in the world that are experiencing the sort of life-threatening disasters and circumstances we experienced for a day yesterday, almost chronically. We continue to light candles for the frightened immigrants and their relatives in our own country, or those who've been exported wrongly to other countries where they're endangered. And I want a special candle for church member Barbara Rodriguez, who is recovering from surgery she had earlier this week, so I'll be checking on her this week and find out how she's doing. And of course, all of the fire victims, those in particular who are members of our community who've had to evacuate and at least upset their lives and are living in some uncertainty about what's happened to their homes. And then, of course, for the people throughout our local community, but, you know, as Gordon has pointed out, if you look at those maps, it just looks like the whole West is on fire right now. So lots of fires people are dealing with in hot, dry circumstances. So lots of people to be concerned about this morning. So I list those. We'll take a moment of silence on behalf of others as usual. And as usual, you're welcome to name those aloud if you like. Those named aloud, those embraced in our silence, and all those who are suffering in our world at this hour, we hold in our community with compassion. Now, usually when we have a really small crowd like this at our first service, during the collection period, I just like to point out that the basket is in the back. If you have something you want to contribute, and specifically this morning, you can do that after the service or on your way out the door. That'd be appreciated and is fine. Otherwise, it feels like we're putting you on the spot, right? Everybody can see who's giving and who's not. So pony up, you know. So we don't want to put you in that. So most folks around here, you know, pledge and their contributions come in, you know, electronically. So, but we do want to hear our wonderful music, if we can, for our offertory. Thank you, Jackie. It is time for our story for all ages. And whenever I'm responsible, of course, I bring a friend to help. A very significant friend today. It is Bigfoot. Hi, everyone. How's it going? Always good to see you, Bigfoot. In fact, it's very rare that most people even ever have one sighting of Bigfoot. You've become quite the regular around here. Well, I didn't exactly plan on it, Nan. No? No, I had to leave the forest last night. Things got a little too hot for me out there. Okay, well, I'm sorry, you must have been near the fires. Sure was. Big smoke, lots of orange in the sky, and us Bigfoots have very sensitive noses. Do you now? When I smelled all that smoke, I knew it was time to go. Well, okay, so you did have to evacuate. When the forest tells you to leave, you leave, Nan. You don't stand around arguing with the fire. Well, that's very wise advice. So a lot of our neighbors had to do the same thing last night. It's scary to leave home, I suppose, isn't it? It is, Nan. My Bigfoot heart was pounding. But you remember, I know it's an important rule, don't you? Oh, let's see. Yeah, always put one foot in front of the other. That's it, and it's the best rule there is when you got to get somewhere safe. And that's how you ended up here this morning. Well, it's good to be with familiar faces in a familiar place. Well, I'm very glad you feel that way. And I know the feeling, especially after a scary day and night like we had yesterday. Yes. Even when you have to leave home, it's always good knowing you're not alone. Well, you're almost a poet on that one. And as long as we're safe and we have friends, we can get through anything, even if it's a little bit different than it is, different now than it was. And here's the thing the Thoris has taught me a long time ago. What's that? Even after a fire, the Thoris doesn't stay burned forever. No, the rain comes again, the green comes back, the little animals return. It takes a while. Things are never quite the same, but we get through it. That's how nature works. Well, that's a really hopeful outlook, Bigfoot, but I'm a little bit ashamed to admit that all the fires burning in the world right now are likely caused by humans, not by nature. Well, that's true. But Bigfoots don't walk backwards. We always knew forward. What did you say? Forward. That's really hard to do without moving your lips in it. Did you mean to say forward? That's right. Facing what's right in front of us, moving on and heading in the right direction from now on. Well, that is very wise, Bigfoot, and maybe what we experienced yesterday, as Dick said earlier, will better help us all understand that we can't return to our old ways. We have to face what's right in front of us and finally move forward together. Now you're talking, Nan, and also, as us Bigfoots always also say, you got to walk your talk. Very good. Well, thanks for the reminder, Bigfoot, and thanks for being here today. You look exhausted. Why don't you take a well-deserved rest? All right. See you guys later. Now, I also have, this is something I think about a lot, and you've heard me talk about it in sermons. We just do not have to be where we're at, right? The Republicans themselves were the ones who started the environmental movement in the early 70s under Richard Nixon as a result of the huge movement caused by Rachel Carson's classic book, Silent Spring. And Nixon created the EPA, and there are all kinds of environmental protections, and we started putting, solar panels on the White House roof, and because that was the opposite of, something that his opponent was doing, Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan decided to take those off. And ever since, Republicans have made anti-environmentalism part of their platform, and I mean that, anti-environmentalism, to the point where, early in the process, they would say that nobody is sure global warming is happening, scientists disagree, it's a hoax, right? And then when it became impossible to deny anymore, under the second term of George W. Bush, scientists disagree about the cause. They don't know what the cause of it is. It's happening, but it's not caused by human activity, always preventing us from addressing the fossil fuel crisis or issue that is really causing this to happen. And now, of course, it has a leader who is continuing to call this the greatest hoax ever perpetrated on human society. We have an election coming up. We have an incumbent who hasn't spoken, to my knowledge, on whether or not he agrees with his party's leader as to whether or not this is a hoax. And how is that person going to be able to help our community move forward in a rational, meaningful way when it comes to these kind of disasters? And I think that is, I'm not saying that he does agree. I'm saying I don't know. But I think that is a question our community needs to raise right now and find out, because this cannot be the new normal because people keep wanting to deny it. Now, as many of you know, I also love to generate AI songs that speak to the issues I care about. And this is one that I produced some time ago because I get so frustrated with this denial. So this was sort of something I came up with this morning, so I didn't have time to produce it in a way that you could see the lyrics in sync with the song itself. So Shelley is going to play the song and show the lyrics separately on the screen. It does have a chorus, and if you can sing, and it's a folk song, so if you want to sing along with the chorus, you can. You don't have to. And are you ready, Shelley? You let me know when, or just go ahead and. As plain as the rain.
Said, boy, that heat's not summer, that's the world crying out. Now the snow comes late and the rivers run thin, yet some folks still swear it's the way it's always been. You can say the sky ain't blue, you can say the rain ain't wet, call the mountains made of paper, call the ocean just a threat. But the fire on the hillside, the silence where the songbirds flew, tells me turning from the truth won't make a single lie come true. There's a stump on the hill where a tall pine
Thank you. That was obviously a very timely song for what's gone on. Okay, I think we will go from there into our meditation and then come back to some more of this in a bit.
As we move into a few moments of quiet meditation together, I offer these words from Iris Murdoch, who believed that morality begins not with rules, but with learning to truly see another person. Art and morality are, with certain provisos, one. Their essence is the same. The essence of both of them is love. Love is a perception of individuals. Love is the extremely difficult realization that something other than oneself is real.
Okay, so I'm going to read a poem. Jackie's going to underscore some music that actually can still apply. But it's called On Religion by Khalil Gibran. And an old priest said, "Speak to us of religion." And he said, "Have I spoken the day of aught else? Is not religion all deeds and all reflection? And that which is neither deed nor reflection, but a wonder and a surprise ever springing in the soul, even while the hands hew the stone or tend the loom? Who can separate his faith from his actions, or his belief from his occupations? Who can spread his hours before him, saying, this for God, and this for myself, this for my soul, and this other for my body? All your hours are wings that beat through space from self to self. He who wears his morality but as his best garment were better naked. The wind and the sun will tear no holes in his skin, and he who defines his conduct by ethics imprisons his songbird in a cage. The freest song comes not through bars and wires, and he to whom worshiping is a window to open but also to shut has not yet visited the house of his soul, whose windows are from dawn to dawn. Your daily life is your temple and your religion. Whenever you enter into it, take with you your all. take the that's the word, and the forge, and the mallet, and the lute, the things you have fashioned in necessity or for delight. For in reverie you cannot rise above your achievements, nor fall lower than your failures. And take with you all men, for in adoration you cannot fly higher than their hopes, nor humble yourself lower than their despair. And if you would know God, be not therefore a solver of riddlers. Rather, look about you, and you shall see him playing with your children, and look into space. You shall see him walking in the cloud, outstretching his arms in the lightning, and descending in rain. You shall see him smiling in flowers, then rising and waving his hands in trees.
Oh, thank you both so much. That was completely appropriate for our service today, even though it has changed. Yeah, so some of you may recall that just about a month ago, we had somebody from Spokane's Disaster Emergency Agency here. Well, I'm forgetting the exact name of the acronym, but talking to us about what to do in our community when there's a disaster, some sort of unexpected environmental disaster, natural disaster, or something else, and even possibly if we would want to become part of the organization, in a way that we could use our facility or something during a disaster. So we didn't move much past that other than getting the information. It's just a short time ago. I did receive a few, one or two texts yesterday about opening the space, and there were a couple of problems with that I would throw out. One, I wasn't entirely sure that this area wasn't going to be evacuated. It didn't make a lot of sense to open it up for folks. Now, when we were evacuated from my neighborhood a couple of years ago, I came here and invited some neighbors to come, and some of us did come and take temporary relief here. But yesterday didn't feel right. Also, I mean, it's in the middle of a crisis. Who do I contact and say we're going to open our building up, as a potential space, overflow space? Thirdly, it's a rather inadequate space, right? They had opened up a gym at the community college, and that very quickly became the entire convention center. So it just wasn't big enough. So I'm not quite sure what we would do other than opening it up to some of our own church members, but still we have to communicate that. So that leads to the solution, right, to the question. And that is that we need to form some sort of plan and some sort of relationship if we're going to do this. So that, is there going to be water here? Is there going to be enough restroom use? Who's going to occupy this with folks who need to be here, and make sure, we need to actually have a plan, probably a team or something in place that would want to help work with the agency here in Spokane and figure out if this is something that we could do or would want to do, or if perhaps it doesn't make sense really for a disaster. As we've seen how much a disaster displaces folks, how much we would be able to be of help. Nevertheless, what it does show us, just like it's probably shown almost everybody in our area, we have to be prepared for whatever it is we have to be prepared for. So I don't think we can do any sort of immediate responses unless we have a plan and a system in place and know exactly what it is we have to offer and what we need to do to pull that off. So I'm just throwing that out now as one of the things for us to consider as we move forward as a congregation, and begin to discuss what is our role in circumstances like these. How can we be of the best help? How can we make the best use? And I think today one of the things that we can do is open up the space for people to process a little bit about what you're feeling, what you've gone through, your fears, your anxieties, your anger, whatever it might be. Is something that a community can always offer without any planning, any extra work, because that's who we are, that's what we do. So with that said, I would again open the floor up with the microphone. Gab is going to help with that again. And I would again invite those of you who have my cell number, if you want to text me from afar, you're welcome to join with a comment or so. I haven't received anything specifically, but I see one from some friends who just said, who live on the west side, who said, watch the news about the fires last night. Are you guys okay? Family reaching out, that kind of stuff. So, but I'll keep my phone in my hand in case anybody out there is texting, and we'll open it up for anything that you guys might want to add to the conversation.
Thanks, Cap. Yeah, I'm really kind of mad because I just think about when I was growing up. I remember when they stopped allowing people to smoke in bars and restaurants, and that was like a big thing. Like, people were very angry about it. And I don't see much difference with this, with just allowing the climate to get to a point where we just have massive fires that are just filling the sky with toxic smoke, burning down people's homes. I just, my heart breaks thinking about all the animals who don't have any say in this, who didn't, they're just existing in the woods, or, the little kids, have to leave their home. That's so terrifying. And it makes me really mad, and, people's homes are burning down. It's, and we act like it's totally not. I mean, frankly, I think people were more angry about not being able to smoke inside. So, it makes me mad. Thanks.
Thank you, Jackie.
I think I'm just really mad for the children. I don't think it's going to get any better. And this is going to be somewhat of a norm of children living in this world where they have to, kind of be chameleons to survival. And it's just irresponsible of us. I'm just angry at dumbasses, honestly. I'm angry at just people who don't, I don't even know, it's maybe not even appropriate to say what I want to say. But there's so many people that voted for a particular personality because they wanted to try something new, and I don't even know what to say. I'm just really angry. I'm really angry of just that type of lack of willing to evolve your spirit. But not in an elitist way, but just in a way of just, why do you want to live in I don't know. Anyways.
Thank you. Thank you. That was perfectly appropriate.
I think Shay hit the nail on the head. I feel the same anger, and as a former environmental reporter for the Spokane Review, I feel it particularly acutely because we have been writing about climate change for years and the politicians have been denying it. And the science is settled now, whether it's the international agencies about climate change or our own local scientists. Last year, I listened to a panel from Stanford University with climate experts who said that where we are right now, we cannot go back and create the climate of the past. We can only ameliorate and prevent further degradation of where we are. And on a personal level, my grandson turns 19 tomorrow. I have a 23-year-old granddaughter, and we have failed this generation and younger people who are coming along, completely failed them. If anybody wanted to read a book about the history of the denial, one of the great books is by a Berkeley professor, Oresky is her name. It's called Merchants of Doubt. And it traces the history of cigarettes are good for you, the people that pushed that, the people who said atomic bombs don't hurt people, and people who say climate change is a hoax. Many of them, kind of alarmingly, are the same people, the same institutes, the same interests. And so if you really want to be informed by the history of this, that would be one good thing to read. The other thing, we have to use our voices. I mean, our congressman that Todd alluded to in this service had no problem with Elon Musk not only eliminating entire departments of safety and science, but pulling a $20 million grant from Gonzaga University to bring more climate mitigation measures to the north side of Spokane. He should be called out for that. He said the country was too broke to do anything about climate change, while voting for a bill that gave huge tax breaks to billionaires. We just have to say enough. And our anger is growing, and it's quite legitimate.
Yes. Very well said. Yeah, Dick, go ahead.
Yeah. So the book that Karen mentioned, the Merchants.
I wrote down the title. So
Merchants of Doubt, yeah.
forget.
Really worthwhile. There are two additional books that I'd recommend, both by Bill McKibben, who is one of my personal heroes. And one of them was published a few decades ago, and it was called Earth, E-A-A-A-R-T-H. And it's about, it was very prescient in describing what we are going to be facing, which is what in fact we are experiencing today. And this is the effects of having a changing climate in a world which has an infrastructure that was not built for any changes in climate. And so we're not only dealing with trying to mitigate the consequences of what is going on right now, like the fire yesterday, but also trying to prepare ourselves so that we have an infrastructure that in fact is more resilient than the one that exists right now, and that's no small feat. The other book by Bill McKibben is Here Comes the Sun, which he published just earlier this year. And he pointed out there that actually the fossil fuel industry, which has been bankrolling a lot of the individuals and the institutes and so on that have been propagating this disinformation campaign about climate change in order to sow doubt and to provide cover to politicians who want to forestall any sort of effective actions and just line their own pockets. And in Here Comes the Sun, he points out that actually, and I mentioned this earlier from the pulpit when I was lay leader at one point, that renewable energies is now the most efficient, the most effective, the most cost-effective, and the safest way in order to produce energy. And I just saw yesterday a news article in the Los Angeles Times that the past month was the very first month in history in which California, the state of California, which is the fifth largest economy in the entire world, produced more than 50% of its energy from renewable energy. So we're in a position where we can turn this around. It is going to mean turning our backs on the fossil fuel industry and actually in a sort of, I should say, unintentional way. We may have found an ally in the Oval Office who has shut down the Straits of Hormuz and more recently working to shut down the Red Sea, so that more and more everyone who's looking for energy, reliable energy supply is looking to renewables, not fossil fuels.
Yeah. Thank you. So I like the shift because we see that there's been a shift in the conversation. Not that any part of the conversation has been inappropriate, but that we've seen some emotions. Here's how I'm feeling. And then we've had some talks about, well, where do we go from here? What are the causes of this and how do we start to address it? And so I think this is a kind of a great place to end, and we're also kind of getting beyond our time. But it's a good place to end because it is right where we need to be, right? In that state of anger and rage, it doesn't leave us in a hopeless place where we just say, well, there's nothing we can do, so this is the way it is. Put your head between your legs and kiss what goodbye, right? It's something. How do we begin to address this? So there's some long-term strategies, which, by the way, I would remind you, the United States is not the only country in the world. It's not even the biggest country in the world. It is the only country in the world that is too stupid to do something to address climate, and that's the good news, right? China's going to do wonderful because they're producing solar panels and selling them to the world and creating more energy for themselves so they can be independent of fossil fuels that they don't have access to themselves. So we can look to the bigger picture and feel some hope there. I think on a local level, Karen, we do need to get together and talk about some sort of community-wide response, open letter, whatever it might be, that we can publish somewhere and say we need to hold you accountable to the disaster that's happened in our community. And if you're not the person who can admit this is a disaster and what its causes are and what we need to do to address it, you're not the person we need representing us. So I'm going to leave it there for now because we are a few minutes over and want to go ahead and move forward. So why don't we go into our closing song and then our benediction? Yeah, that's good. Thank you all so much for your participation today, and my hearts are going out to all of you, and I'm feeling a lot of that love come back. So.
Just as long as I have breath, I must answer yes to life. Though with pain I made my way, still with hope I meet each day. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to life. Just as long as my heart beats, I must answer yes to truth. In my dream and in my dark, always that elusive spark. If they ask what I did well, I'll tell them I said yes to truth.
Our benediction today comes from Unitarian Universalist minister Reverend Todd Eckloff in a sermon from 2023. Let your values take you away from your religion before you let your religion take you away from your values. Amen. Blessed be. Salam alaikum and shalom.